Hello, this is Warlord, and today we're going to make a simplified Hulk character in Character Creator 3. Now, I'm using the SkinGen Premium and the Human Anatomy collection, but you can always just take a blank character and bulk it up with sliders and things to make a muscular character, and then follow the same technique. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, I have Herculean loaded as a base. I'm going to drag over a picture. I'm using auto. We're not going to do anything fancy. We're going to keep everything pretty basic. As you can see, there's no mask in the current body shape, so we'll let it do its thing. Now, here it might not look too good, but don't worry about that. Remember, in early stages, you never know what it's going to look like or what it's going to end up like. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to come over and deal with the skin color. That gives us a kind of a decent base to start with, but it's not that good looking a color. And I know through trial and error earlier that 73 is about what I want to do on green. So here we have the skin set up now. Now I didn't like the hair, so I'm going to go ahead and delete the hair. That's the auto-generated hair. Sometimes it does a good job, sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to go over here and get the short hair. I absolutely hate the sideburns on him, but we can take care of that. So, first thing we're going to do is go over and desaturate it. And then we're going to darken it. And now we're going to modify, edit mesh, and we will deal with that hair by just sticking the sideburns into the face mesh. We're not going to worry about anything else. We're just going to shove it into the face where it disappears. And since it's the Hulk, we don't even have to be particular about it or anything. So we're just going to shove it in there to where it disappears. You may want to push your intensity up. Then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Probably should have hit mirror. But as you can see here, it's moving in nicely. Again, we don't have to be particular about it. I'm just trying to get rid of most of it. Now, we're getting there. Now let's have a look and see. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to shape the face and the head. On the original one, I did that in ZBrush, but not everybody's going to have ZBrush, and you can do the same thing by going in with the morph sliders. And we have so many morph sliders now, particularly with headshot. And so all I'm doing is shortening the nose. On most of the reference images that I used, it had a short nose, square jaw. Some had a long face, some had a shorter face. That's just going to be personal preference. And I'm not going to go through all these sliders. I'm just picking out some that I hope will work. And I'm also going to try and get that nose a little more pointed and a little hooked. We're just about there. All I need to do is find something that'll turn that nose down. You may have slider overkill, but that's better than not having enough. There we go. That's pushing the nose down like I want it. Now we could keep tweaking that nose, but let's just move on. So now we're going to go to the mouth, going to widen it out a little. You would also want to go in there later and widen out the teeth, but to save time, we're not going to do that right now. Just working on the jaw. After a while, you'll learn how to filter out the different sliders. You don't have to use everything, remember that. And if you do use everything, it may be overkill. So all I'm trying to do now is just widen out the jaw. And of course, we're not stuck over there on that side. We can come over to headshot. We didn't do any kind of shaping or anything. because we're going to keep this simple. But let's go ahead and use headshot to pull the jaw down some more. Now you might want to give that jaw a point or whatever. I'm just going to leave it square, because you're getting the idea of what we're doing here. And now we're just going to start going in and adding wrinkles. Adding all kinds of layers. Now this, the Herculean already had some of this built in, but we're going to go ahead and pile on more. I want him to have a rough exterior, and we're not actually going to get into everything like nose pores and facial pores, but we're going to go ahead and stack on some more wrinkles. If you notice here, I'm using 2 different sets of wrinkles. And then all I'm doing is going in and checking them and seeing what my sliders are set at. And I'm basically just boosting them way up to the top, sometimes to 100%. Because the sliders will come in when you add them, they'll come in at different slider levels. Some come in at 100%, some don't. So now I'm just adding a few more things. Neck wrinkle. Your Hulk may not have this many wrinkles in it, but to me it just adds character. And as far as the dark spots on the face go, you could go into Photoshop and take those out if they bother you. Just use the clone tool and remove them, or clone them from another part of the face. I'm just going to leave them for now and see how it looks in the final product. It may go ahead and lend itself well to shadows. Don't make hasty decisions on things like that. What I'm doing now is just adding muscles. And you'll see here it just defines it more. We're talking about the Hulk here. So let's pump up those steroids. And I'm just going to keep adding things like the cheek wrinkles. That's not easy to say. Add those. On some characters, I pile on all of them. You'll see there's some things in here that show I haven't used it. Well, it's because I just updated this, so a lot of them are showing new. There's just so many, it's hard to use everything in here. And I have, as I said earlier, used it to the point that I had to back off some, because that actually lost the original look of that particular character I was looking on. But it's always better to have too much than not enough. Even though there's quite a few wrinkles, I'm still going to add these forehead wrinkles. I just want this guy to not just be a character, I want him to have all kinds of character. Some of you may think this is overkill. But you can always go back and remove them. And we're gradually getting him up to the point to where I like what I see from a distance. Some people work close up. I do initially, and in some cases I do all the time. But this character is going to be seen more from a distance. So I'm just seeing what he looks like from a distance. Okay, now here I'm going to go in and tone down the fingernails. All I'm going to do is desaturate them and turn them dark. That way they don't stand out like they did so much before. Now for pants, I just jumped over into Marvelous Designer after exporting him out as an OBJ and went ahead and put some simple pants on and then brought those in. They've already been skinned, so I'm just adding them. So now we've got pants. Let's go ahead and do a little lighting to see how he looks. And let's pose him. Give you a good idea. Even though we didn't spread out the teeth, we're not going to open it that wide. I'm just going to go over and give him an angry look. click on a few here. There we go. And there you have it, in around 10 minutes or so, not counting loading times, which are edited. You have a version of the Hulk.